All right, so welcome back. This is still Unilag 103.1 FM, and I've been talking about alternative to tomatoes. That is alternative to tomato stew and sauce. This is because of the way things are right now in the food market. There's no market you visit that you don't find this pressure. So it's a general thing affecting whether it's the west, the north, the east, or yes, the west, the north, the east, or the south. We're grappling with this right now, and we need to look for a way out of it. And one of the ways is to look for alternatives to making tomato sauce. I mentioned banga stew and sauce. I mentioned garden egg sauce. I mentioned carrots chicken sauce. So now let's look at ofada stew. Ofada stew is another option. Okay, also called the ayamatase. I hope I called it correctly. All right, this is proudly Africa and Nigeria. Ofada stew is usually made, to go with a special kind of local rice, that is the ofada rice. You can also, if you can't lay your hand on ofada rice is a no-go area. I asked today, a bag of rice as of today is over 80,000. That is, then I asked, okay, let's go for local rice. They're telling us 75K. Hey, well, we'll survive. So with ofada stew, what do we do? The sauce can be used to eat maybe moi moi, white rice, yam, plantain, even spag or macaroni when you prepare your ofada stew. Now, the ofada stew is easy to make, and the only ingredient you need is just unripe peppers, especially habanero peppers. But some people would usually add the green tatashe pepper, yes, the green bell peppers, and the rest of them. But once you can lay your hand on those peppers that are not ripe, you get to the market, you buy a basket of tomatoes. Well, there's no tomatoes now. The tomatoes are expensive. But usually you take those ones that are unripe. But since you don't have tomatoes and you can lay your hands on tomatoes, what you just do, get your local pepper, your habanero peppers, green peppers, your tatashe, your green bell peppers, put everything together, blend them coarsely. Just blend them, not too smooth, all right? But you will need locust beans. Iru is a lovely seasoning for ofada stew. Then you'll be needing red palm oil. The palm oil has to be red. Yep. That's what makes it ofada stew. Now you need plenty of onions and, of course, crayfish. If you can lay your hands on shrimp, fresh or dry, good to go. Then you have your assorted meats, like your shaki, the edo, if you can't lay your hands on that, go for your chicken wings, go for your chicken laps, chicken breast. But just look for any of the proteins. Then you can do fish. You can do fresh fish. You can do smoked fish. You can do dry fish. And then, don't let me forget eggs, boiled eggs. You boil the egg, hard boiled eggs. These are very good combinations for making ofada stew. If you decide to call it ofada sauce, good and fine. All you need to do is just once you have blended all these peppers together, just get your palm oil, add your onion, pour in the peppers, pour in the fish. They must have been cooked though. You must have boiled them separately until they are tender. Mix everything together. It's ready. Make sure you taste for salt and seasoning. If you decide to add some vegetables, fine. Some people do. You can do scent leaves. You can do any of the vegetables, any of the efforts with the spinach, whichever. Just little to make sure that you have a green atmosphere. Yes, you have a green delicacy added to the stew and the sauce. It gives it a special flavor and also taste, and also, of course, what it will add to the body. So with this, we can move. There's another one we call miyan kuka. Miyan kuka is all the way from the north. It's a delicacy from the northern part of Nigeria. And it's also known as baobab leaf stew. You know, baobab grow a very great deal all over the north. So if you can't lay your hands on tomato stew or sauce, please prepare your miyan kuka. Now, what do? You usually serve this with rice. The key ingredients for miyan kuka include your beef, your onion, your dry fish, your hot pepper. You can wash, soak, and flake. All right. You also have the kuka, that's the baobab leaves. All right. You pound until they look like paste. Then you of course you need your locust beans. The locust beans is the dawa dawa, the fermented dry seed of the African locust beans, which is pressed into a ball or pressed in a cake form. This is what you need for this particular soup. There's another one we call yaji. Of course, that's the suya seasonings. I'm wondering how it's going to taste, because you know when you bring your meat or you make your barbecue and then you spice it with your suya seasoning, you see how it is. Suya spices are readily available. You can talk to me. We can get it for you. We have, that is real suya spices, not these ones that are mixed and are fake. Nigerian, yes, suya spices. They are always very, very good. So with this, you can make your miyan kuka, and then you have your. Sometimes they add a little potash, just little, very small. Of course, with your palm oil, salt, and seasoning to taste. You mix everything together. You can serve alongside your rice and what have you. How can I forget vegetable soup? Eforiro. You can use eforiro for in place of tomato stew now or tomato sauce. You can also do pumpkin leaf sauce. Pumpkin leaf, which is ugu, okay, is one of the most widely used vegetables in